Back to Shadow Phoenix, and sorry about the lighting. I'm running around the house trying to find some place to film. I need a camera crew. So I have questions for 5D have been coming in, and I'm going to do my first one tonight. And I got this one a couple hours ago, 2 hours ago, and it hit me hard. So as a reminder, the format for this is somebody can just ask a question, any kind of question, Dear Abby style format, as much or as little detail as you want. It's anonymous. I will answer, blending the 3D answer with the 5D answer, hopefully providing some insight, some clarity, hopefully something useful and practical, if not at least just comfort and encouragement. And because most people have the same common questions and problems in life, hopefully more than just one person will be able to get some help and inspiration and, get some mileage out of it. The preview for the next one is going to be on relationships and how to make them work and knowing when to walk away. So there's a preview for your next question. And the question tonight really hit me hard, and I think because I personally have struggled with this a lot, and it's going to be anonymous, but I'm going to read it. Hello, my name is, okay, so that's my Slim Shady reference. My name is blank, been around the moon many times. Am I on the right path? It feels like the world is always against me. Hi, my name is, been around the moon many times. Am I on the right path? I feel like the world is always against me. Oh, dude. If you cannot relate to that, you're lying, and I'm calling you on it right now. Yeah. Fuck. I need coffee. Part of being part of the Pacific Northwest there is apparently coffee is a thing you do. This is decaf because it's 5 o'clock for me. I got coffee, so I'm just chit-chatting with you, my people. It's informal. We're just having a talk. So, how do I know I'm on the right path? The first thing that jumps out to me about that is I think that we have, as a culture, this belief that being on the right path means that things are going to be easy for us, or that they're going to work a certain way, or that things will work out, or that what we want will come to us or manifest. And, I don't know that we can really link those two things together in a lot of ways. So if you're looking at stuff from a big picture perspective, everybody's on the right path, because if you, as a source being, chose to incarnate into this 3D world on planet Earth, you are on the right path because you chose this and you're here. And by your very act of existence, you are fulfilling anything that you came here to do. Your life purpose, goals, fixing karma, releasing karma, creating karma, being a light worker, being a healer, whatever it is that you believe in. If you are here, you done did it. You win. I mean, if you were born, depending on how far you want to go, if you were conceived, you did it. You came here, and your act of existence has, in that one act, accomplished and finished everything that you were supposed to be or become, whatever. Just the act of coming from 5D, from pure spirit. And when I say 5D, I mean spirit, source, and again, sometimes the layers in between that and the manifest world, because there are layers to my understanding, from pure spirit, from pure source, pure God, pure love, the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever that means to you, that's what it means to me, into 3D, which is this manifest world right here, where we're at this action of having a name, walking around, going places, doing things, getting stuff done, paying money for stuff, dealing with our kids, going to work, fighting through traffic. And so, and I don't know where we got this idea, but, and this is from Bashar. Bashar is a person, an entity that is channeled from Daryl Anka, And I really like his work, so I'm going to try to give credit where credit's due as I'm going through what I've learned and gathered from other light workers and healers that emerge. So I'm attempting not to plagiarize, but I will be drawing and combining material. And that's basically lifted straight from a Bashar video that says there's nothing that you can do to increase your worth, increase your, generating something, like everything you are is here once you just emerge. Nothing you do on this plane increases that productivity or worthwhileness. Everything you do, he says, reveals the breadth and the scope of your reach into the world, into the effect, the impact that you are having. But it's kind of a cause and effect, and we just have it backwards. So just the point that you came here and you made it from source energy, being into 3D, and then you became a person, that act in itself was everything you needed to do. And I really like that because I come from a format of wholeness. I believe that we have basic goodness. I believe that we have a Buddha nature. And I don't believe in original sin. I don't believe we're coming here to do something or become something as if it matters. I believe that what we're here to do is to have fun, have expansion, and create what we want to create, and that is up to us. I find that for me personally, some of these messages about like, you have to have a life purpose, you have to do this, you have to be a certain way, there's a certain code of ethics, there's a certain kind of principles that you have to do. I feel like that's really disempowering to people. In my experience, it's been entirely disempowering. It does have its use, it does have its place. And for people who choose that life, it's very valuable to them. I lived in that kind of a lifestyle for a really long time. And so I'm not devaluing certain philosophies or modes of being. It's just that it kind of does what it does, but then if you want to go somewhere else, you're kind of being limited by it versus using that as a functionality to grow. Some people use that and they grow. Some people have to go somewhere else to grow. Neither's better or worse. So first of all, are you on the right path? Yes, because you're here. And if you fuck up every day of your life, you still are on the right path and you're still doing what you came here to do, and you're fulfilling that, and you're fulfilling it well. And I think that we should, as a collective, begin to give ourselves more permission to relax. And I'm preaching to the choir on this one. We should give ourselves more permission to relax and to relax into the worthwhileness of our being, that we don't have to add anything to ourselves to be more worthwhile, to be more lovable, to be, just to find that we're here taking up space. And that's, I think, anyways, okay, that's that. When you say that you want to know if you're on the right path because things aren't working out, I want to go there. And I think that there's some real interesting answers, and I'm going to go all over the board on this, and people are going to resonate with one or the other or multiple of them. Take what's for you, leave the rest. I go really broad, and this isn't meant as like an edict or a verdict on you personally. This is just some ideas, and we grow, and as we grow, we're at different spots. What the spot and the part of the path where you're on right now, you're going to resonate with, that's going to be helpful to you. The part that's not helpful, disregard, because that's not for you, it's for somebody else, okay? So I'm just going to say that. The fact that it's hard could mean that you are on the right path, because mostly when we come here to do something, I'm going to borrow from Esther Hicks, life is meant to be easy. And that is my belief. But because as humans we tend to pick up and absorb limiting beliefs from our surrounding culture, we think it's difficult. And then when we go to put on our greatness, and we go to create, and we go to manifest, and we go to live this vision and this dream that we have rightly, we find it difficult because all of a sudden in this process that is easy, we suddenly are bumping up against limiting beliefs and other people's limiting beliefs. We bump up against resistance of all sorts. And so the fact that you're trying something, to me, is an indicator that you have a path and you know what that is and you're going towards it. The fact that it's hard just shows that you have limiting beliefs that you're encountering. And I think that what helped for me was, instead of taking those limiting beliefs as signs that I wasn't on the right path, I took it as signs that I was clearing this crap out of my path to become more of who I was. I always talk about the memes because we all see the memes on Facebook. So it's like an easy way to, share content. It's kind of like our common culture now is Facebook. But, they talk about the memes that say, we're getting rid of stuff. Like the spiritual life, it's about removing things. I think this 3D focus on like minimalism, the Marie Kondo method, is about getting rid of things that don't serve us, things that distract our focus, because focus is powerful. Focus is extremely powerful. And when we dilute our focus and we allow ourselves to become distracted, we don't work as efficiently, and it makes it difficult. And so in the 3D world, I think that we're starting to get this idea that spiritually we need to let go of things that are hindering us. Drop everything that weighs you down if you want to fly, like that kind of thing. And so these limiting beliefs are the things that you're carrying. Could be for any sort of reason. Doesn't matter the reason. You can drop them. Could be generational. Could be, your lifetimes. Could be karmic. Could be stuff that you've picked up through trauma, like legitimate things that you've gone through in this life. But whatever they are, if they're weighing you down, that difficulty as you're walking your path is pointing out which difficulties and limiting beliefs you have and saying, hey, isn't this causing you trouble? Wouldn't you do better? Wouldn't you walk this path easier if you just left that behind? Like, take that backpack off. Take those rocks out of your backpack, and then you can just go. You could just jet. I think that sometimes difficulty on our path, when the world seems against us, isn't necessarily that we're doing anything right or wrong, or we're on the right path or the wrong path. But I think that sometimes it can just be a sign that we have a lot of resistance. So if I'm going to work at 8 a.m., I'm going to hit traffic. That's resistance. Doesn't mean it's wrong to go to work. Doesn't mean I took the wrong road to go to work. It just means that there's more resistance on that path. And if I just left 10 minutes earlier or 15 minutes later, I might have less resistance. There might be a way that I'm doing something that's inadvertently causing resistance or allowing resistance to occur, when small, subtle shifts could really make a big difference. So this is where I really come from a lot of like Buddhist philosophy, where resistance is rigidity. And it can become attachment or clinging, or it can also be aversion and pushing away from. So think about a toddler. If you have a toddler, they do clinging and attachment so well. Sometimes they can even want you. Mommy, I have small children. They cling on you, they pull on you, they want you so bad, they're clawing you, they're clawing at your neck, they're pulling at your clothes. And they can't enjoy the fact that they are with you because they're attached so much and they want so much that the want, like the intensity of their wanting and the clinging and the grasping, isn't allowing, they're too rigid to enjoy the fact that they are with you. They're touching you, they're in physical close proximity to you, you're holding them, they're there, you guys are talking, but because they just want it so bad, they can't enjoy it. That's attachment, and that's rigidity, that's resistance. The same is also true. Toddlers, a great analogy is resistance and aversion. Could be you, could be their sibling, could be a certain dinner item. It's not just no thank you with like a clear communication of their preferences. It's no, and they shove it away and they knock over the plate and they're pushing back the chair. And this resistance, this intensity, is creating so much more resistance than simply saying, no, thank you, I don't want this, or simply choosing to change their focus to something they would rather eat that's on their plate at the same time. And this, intensity, the aversion, the pushing against the resistance is causing the rigidity and causing the conflict. I think that one of the difficult things about law of attraction and about life is there's a certain flow. And I have tried as hard as I can to make that flow faster, to make it slower. It will not be, when you're in 5D, you can mess with the flow. But from a 3D perspective, you cannot change the flow of life. And so that rigidity, and it can come from either clinging or attachment or aversion, it can cause that resistance either way. I always think too of like, I grew up in Southern California. We'd go to the beach and you'd walk out on the pier and you have these huge timber logs holding up the pier. And then the waves would come in, the surf would come in and crash against them, and then it would crash against them going back out. And you can see the ripples and the splash from the waves hitting the resistance of that pole. That pole wasn't doing anything. Sometimes we go, but I don't have an intensity. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, and it could just be that you are rigid. It could be that you're doing nothing rigidly instead of flowing. So if you see a log floating in the water, it's moving on the waves, it's going up and down, it's going side to side down the river as it's moving with the current. It's bobbing, it's going up, it's going down on the swells, versus standing there just deadlocked, just sunk in and refusing to budge or move. And so sometimes that can cause resistance too. And again, that's much more of how are we doing versus what are we doing. And so sometimes it's just if you have a lot of rigidity and you haven't learned to flex, bend rather than break, that can also cause the world being against you, not because you're doing anything wrong or you're on a wrong path, but just because if you happen to be doing it in a certain manner where you're very inflexible. And this is where a lot of good, well-meaning people get stuck. And I'm not going to name any names, but think about politics, think about people that have causes, think about people that are advocates, people that are crusaders, people with certain religious ideals. They believe themselves to be very self-righteous and very justified and really acting for the greater good, and they're really acting in accord genuinely with their own conscience, but because of the rigidity of their fixed mind, their fixed ideas, that rigidity causes people to buck against them or resist them. And a lot of these people have really great ideas, deals, really great causes and ideas and things that they're trying to do or, not do. But just because of the rigidity that they hold when they're communicating that, and again, a lot of times too, it's very energetic. Sometimes somebody will go, like seemingly nothing happened, it wasn't like this encounter with somebody where there's a huge conflict or something, and yet they'll get a strong reaction, and then they don't understand that energetically they were very fixed and rigid. And even though they might have, like think about people who are passive-aggressive, using passive-aggressive communication styles. That's a perfect example. Their energy is rigid. Their communication is like, oh, okay, whatever. Like seemingly very flexible, seemingly very acquiescing, but inside that energy is so fixed and rigid. And, that's how we know that we are hybrids working in the 5D and the 3D at the same time, because we feel energy. We absolutely feel energy. So, the world is against me. Do I know that I'm on the right path? Sometimes, things not going for you can say, let's say you have a path. Also, rabbit trail. I don't know that I believe in paths either. I think that's another thing that I think we can let ourselves off the hook for. I really love Buddhism, but I refuse to be a Buddhist. I really love a lot of things, but I refuse to put a label on myself because I come from a religion that I was raised in as a child that was very rigid. They were really into names and really into labels, and what label and name you picked was really important and really meant a lot. And there's a lot of things that came along with that label. No matter what label you picked, it was just laden with a bunch of resistance and density and beliefs and all sorts of things. So today, I'm somebody that has a hard time doing that. And I really like to grow and evolve. And so I find that even if I like something, I really get into it, and then I'm off on the new thing. I'm really into that. I'll be off on some other thing. So labels are good for communication, like basic 3D communication, but really, energetically, I think that people who are evolving and spiritual are getting to the point where we don't need the labels anymore. You kind of know. We do have some lingo and vocabulary. There are some practices. There are some symbols that we all use, to kind of denote our clans and maybe our subcultures. But like law of attraction, LOA, for instance, is like a great example. But, I think that paths, having a life path, being on a path, being on any particular path, I think you should use that as much as you feel it serves you. And if it gets to the point where you feel like wondering if you're on the right path is taking up more energy than you actually doing something productive with being on that path, I think you might be at a time where you can say, am I ready to let this idea go about paths and being on a right path or a wrong path or any path at all? And this is something, again, that I would say, wrestled with, because I felt like everything I've done has been tried before to a certain extent, and yet my individual path, my individual thought processes, my experiences never match exactly 100% with any of the paths out there. Religions or certain philosophies or whatever. There was always like this 1% or 5% where I was like, that just doesn't work for me. That doesn't resonate. That doesn't ring true. And I felt like, is it me? Is it me? No, nothing. Anything that makes you wrong isn't right. So it's the path. It's this idea of paths. So as long as it helps you, use that idea, that paradigm that there's paths and you can be on one. And, when you get to the point where you feel like this is constraining me, I have to pick a title. I have to pick what kind of thing I do. I have to sit around and choose a little label for myself. Then I think you're at the point where you can say, maybe I'm going to forget this and just worry on having the experience, worry on having the evolution, having the growth, and sinking into that instead. And so I got to a point, I rabbit trail off my rabbit trails. That takes skill. And I was like, I'm not going to do the path, because anything that I'm here to do, I will be the only one having done it. Why? Because I'm here, because I'm one of 7 billion people. And for whatever reason, the universe thought it needed every single last one of us. And so that's how many expressions of the universe there are to be and to be had and to be experienced. And so, even though sometimes I don't feel like I'm much, I am. And my individual path that I'm walking for me, Dory, is my path, and there is only one of it. And I'm the one here to cut it, to break that path, to, I don't know the word, pioneer it, to do the thing. So same thing for you. If you're feeling like, oh, this path thing, this is a paradigm that's maybe not working for me, you do your own path, my name is. You do your own path, and there's only going to be one of them. And guess what? It can't be wrong, because it's your path, and you're the one that decides whether it's right or not. That's the beauty of picking your own path, having your own process, your own journey, your own evolution, is that you get to be your own judge and jury and witness and observer on, is this working for me or not? Do I like what I'm getting out of this? There's people that have what appears to be highly maladaptive behaviors and methods of dealing with things, but for them, they continue to choose it. So that means that it must be working for them in that moment. We don't have to sit in judgment of it. It doesn't matter, because if we're on our own path, we're busy doing our own thing. Okay? Oh my goodness. This is such a great question. We've been everywhere with this so far. Where is there left to go? Yeah, the world's against me. I think also that when you have, is it Bashar, who said, okay, I'm getting it from somewhere, but I don't remember where I heard it from. When you have this, you have so when you say the world's against me, what does that look like? It looks like my boss doesn't like me, people are cutting me off in traffic, I keep getting broken up with, I keep having financial troubles. And then you can say, okay, what is that telling me? It's telling me that, for instance, if people keep breaking up with me, that I'm not lovable. Well, that's not true. We know that's not true. And so you can go, okay, so if that's not true, what is the truth? The truth is that I am lovable, I am worthy, whatever, what have you. I think it was a Facebook thing. It was a Facebook video that I'm getting this from, but I don't know the person's name, so I'm sorry, person. And so every lie that you encounter points you back to a deeper truth, and you can use that truth to excavate, grow, learn, heal, experience wholeness in that area. Okay? And And so sometimes those are the very things that you're called here. And this is not a new idea by any stretch, that the hardships that you have in this life are the things that you're here to heal or solve, not just for yourself, but for other people too. And I think that in the 5D, I want to point out that we think in the 3D, okay, I'm going to now create a nonprofit. I'm going to create a trust fund. I'm going to create this movement so that it helps other people. Like what I've gone through, it helps other people. Well, you can, and it may or may not, but really if you deal with something and evolve in the 5D, that frequency elevation affects the consciousness, the entire group consciousness, and it elevates everybody. And if you listen to Esther Hicks, all of those thought patterns that you're working through and healing and developing wholeness and developing victory over and freedom from and freedom to, and all of this really great positive energetic material is amassing together because of the healing that you personally are doing on a singular level, and it creates a thought stream. It creates a current. And now people can tap into that. Past, present, and future, multidimensional, you're creating something that now on a 5D wavelength, you have created more weight and density to that's positive, that people can attract to more easily when they become at that same frequency of where you are. So let's say you struggle with depression. And you do a lot of work with depression, you do the meds, and you talk to the doctors, you go and you do the PTSD healing, and I don't know why I said that with depression, but, you do the eating, you do the sleeping, you do all the things, you do the herbal things, you do all the stuff, you talk to people, and you've gotten so much healing around depression, and you're feeling better. You're feeling like, hey, I solved this for myself, I'm free of this now, I've developed healing, and I enjoy it. And I want to share this. Well, you already have. The fact that you did all of that work and that you've done this growth and evolution through this issue, that healing process has created a ton of frequencies and density where that law of attraction has amassed all of this and added it to all the other healing that other people with depression, for instance, have experienced, where they've healed. And so now it's all together. And every time you add to that, that gets easier to find for other people who are also looking for it. So this other person is going to go, oh, I'm so depressed. How can I get over this? You're making it that much easier for that person to come and connect with the healing that you've already created for yourself. And that vibrationally in the 5D is offered currently to everybody. And it's great because it's not limited by time, culture, language, access to internet, access to information. It's vibrational. So anybody in that vibration now has access to the healing that you just did, the victory that you just had. So there's a lot of things in my life that I really want to share. That's the YouTube channel and the Facebook page and all the different stuff. I'm also exploring how can I share that. But there's also a realization that as I've been a single mom and was on welfare and now I have a job and I'm growing that career. I have a great community of women. I have a great community in the town that I live in. I have a beautiful home. Like all of these things that are going good for me because I've worked hard and I've done the work and I've done the manifestation. I've really invested that time. That is out there for anybody to access, whether or not you have, internet to get to YouTube or internet to get to Facebook, or you speak my language, or even if you're, in 2020 right now, February of 2020, vibrationally, all of that growth and work that I have done is out there in a stream, amassed with every other woman or any other person who's done those things like it, or the same story over and over again. And so now other people who are, 100 years ago around the world with a different time, different situation, finds themselves down and out with kids, difficult time. When they get to that vibration of, I need a solution, I'm ready to get going, I want to, then they're going to come and meet with that. Because again, when you're in 5D, it's unbounded. You don't have time and space that's hemming you in, that you have to, gosh, that's why I'm saying, if you are in this lifetime, you already win the jackpot on what you're supposed to do, because think about all the dimensions out there in the multiverse. Think about all the times that you could have been born. Think about all the locations that you could have been. The chances of any of us meeting anybody else in the 3D are really small probabilities. There's so many of us. There's so many places to be. There's so many times to have been. And so even if I know 1,000 or 5,000 people in my lifetime, out of all of the aggregate, people and collective that there could have been, even if it's everybody I've ever even seen in traffic or on the grocery store or on TV as an extra or something. I mean, the chances of us coming into contact together are, it's rare. It's a rare thing. So the rarity of it to me just proves like all of these coincidences and all of these people, yeah, that's your soul tribe. Those are your soul connections. Those are your soulmates, your twin flames. What do you call that? The Caroline Miss one, the sacred contracts. So yeah. So took this a lot of places. I hope that answers your question. If not, hit me again. We'll take it to a different direction. If you want to get more specific, my name is with the what path is for me, am I in the right path, and why is life always against me? If I didn't answer it, hit it back again. We'll roll it over. But this is the kind of thing that we're going to do. Get questions, talk it out, look at it from different vantage points, from a broader vantage point, talk about what could be going. Let me see. I did promise some usable practical skills. So, let's see. When life is against you. So, one that I love and I use a ton, and I can tell when I don't use it, it's from Abraham Hicks, that everything is always working out for me. That is your mantra. Everything is always working out for me. That is some powerful magic right there. That shit is real and intense. You start saying that. You don't even have to believe it. Just say it at first. And when something good happens to you, you say, everything's always working out for me. And you smile and you enjoy it and you let your heart get big and you let people look at you kind of funny because they're going to be like, okay, I guess you're going to brag about it and be like, yeah, I sure as the hell am because I just manifested that. And you have fun with it. And when something horrible happens and you lose your job or your tire blows out on the freeway, you have something that's minor inconvenience to a tragedy, you say, everything is always working out for me because it is. And that's what that means, is that there's no bad thing big enough to derail all the good things happening to you. Nothing real can ever be taken away. So yes, some tragic things do happen, and I'm not discounting that in the 3D. But in the 5D, that shit's here forever. It ain't going nowhere. And you have access to it at any time. So if something's not coming in the way you want it to, it's unfolding. It's an unfoldment. I've got some big stuff. I've got some big things that I'm manifesting, that I'm working on, and they're not here yet. And every little twist and turn of the trail is everything's always working out for me. Everything's always working out for me. Because I don't have to prove my worthiness, because I don't have to prove anything and earn anything. Once I got rid of that, I was like, oh, this is really about just having fun. And when you have these twists and turns on the trail, you realize how much more scenic it is, how much more beautiful it is with the twists and turns. You realize all the fun connections and rendezvous that you have, to steal another Abraham Hicks one, and the enjoyment of the unfolding and watching it come towards you is so satisfying, and you just can relish that and really get into it and have fun with it. And then once you know that you can manifest what you want, then it's on like Donkey Kong, as they say, because then there's no limit to what you can do. And then it is really fun to just start getting crazy and kooky and go, oh my gosh, and your just wildest dreams, you big, small, whatever. And so when you can use that everything is working out for me mantra, and write it down, put it on sticky notes, put it on your phone, tattoo it on your forehead, whatever works for you, but say it and say it over and over again. And you'll begin to see, especially when something bad happens. When something bad happens, say, everything is always working out for me. And don't worry if you don't feel it, but say it. And then watch, because something will come along to prove that whatever bad thing just happened was working out for you. And I put 2 hands, whatever, $1, it will. So, and when the world's against you, you just say, everything's always working out for me. Something else with that one. Okay, I got it. So, when you feel like things are against you, especially the whole world's against you, that's some heavy momentum. That's some really intimidating energy, very aggressive energy coming at you. And my tendency when I feel that is to feel attacked, and then I shut down. So this shutdown posture creates rigidity, one, which we've already talked about. And it also shuts off the flow of energy, because if you have your valve tightened, the water can't flow. Well, the only thing that any of us are is energy. And if I tighten down my energy, nothing can flow. Nothing can come to me because I'm shutting it off, because I have this really closed down, tight valve that's shut super tight because I'm so afraid of what's coming towards me, or just because I feel upset. So you have to find a way to get into an open, expansive sensation and feeling. It's emotional, it's your thought, it's your body posture, it's energetic. Any one of those things can be used to open you up energetically, where you're going from closed and constricted, you're closed down, to you're open-hearted. Think about anything that makes you feel open, expansive, free, moving forward, open. Even just sitting this way, like mostly if you're like this, if you're feeling bad, you're going to be like the little shell guy. You're just turning in on yourself. So you probably already have a posture that's slightly turned inward. Pull your shoulders back, put your rib cage up, put your head up, and even your posture, just doing that will, and science, it's hoodoo, it's LOA hoodoo, it's also science. So when you do that, your energy centers, your chakras are in line, and also the chemicals to your brain. Your brain knows your posture, and there's an emotive fingerprint on your posture, and when you change your posture, your brain is going to notice. So from the 3D up, you're going to be changing what's happening for you and your experience of the world. Socially, if you go into a situation like this, you're saying, I don't belong here, I don't deserve to be here, I'm a victim, good things aren't coming to me, I'm having a bad experience, I'm having a bad day. You know, if you walk in like this, socially, the signals that you're giving off to other mammals is very different, which is I'm empowered, I'm here, I'm taking up space, I feel good about it, I'm confident, I'm safe. We're herd animals. When you feel safe and you're communicating that with your body posture, what do you communicate to the other people around you? That they're safe. Think about a herd of deer or a herd of anything. They all have that posture. Like I always think about the tail, like the deers and their little tail goes up and they go, Me doing that right now, I guarantee that you felt that, because we're all mammals and we're all instinctually herd animals, and we look at each other's body posture. That's how we develop to be herd, because if that person's safe, I'm safe. If they're not safe, I'm not safe. So if you walk through life saying this, I'm safe, I'm confident, good things happen to me, you're going to make everybody else around you feel safe too, because you are not signaling that there's a threat. They're going to also feel safe and relaxed. And what happens when two people who are open and calm coming at each other with confidence, with an open heart? Love happens, because that's what we are. That's what naturally happens. That's what herd animals do. That's what we do socially, is good things happen when we're heart to heart, right? All the best things happen belly to belly. So when you go through life like this, instead of the world being against you, because you're showing your back, you're showing that there's something matter, you're confirming that there's danger out there, even though there's not. When you start doing this, you're going to invite a different, even just socially, just 3D. Yeah. So even just simple postures that can open you up are going to have a huge, profound effect on your experience of life not being against you anymore. There's people who are animal people. I pet my dog, I pet my cat, I pet my iguana, I pet my pet snail. I don't know, people love to do all sorts of things. Whatever makes you open and happy. If you have a good memory, think about that good memory. If you have a person that you like, or if you have a joke that you like. I like to listen to comedies on Netflix, stand-up comedies. I love stand-up comedies. It's the best medicine. Some people are into music. Like, find your magic and work it. Find this open-hearted stance. And when you go into the world with this open-hearted stance, energetically, emotionally, in your chakras, in your body, in your mind, emotionally, things going to happen. And be ready, because good things are going to come for you, and you may not be ready. So do your inner work, because when good things happen, if you're not used to interacting with people heart to heart and being vulnerable and having a human connection, that could scare you off. You could shut down, and then you're just going to see that as another threat. So it's magical, but it's not a silver bullet. You have to do the attending work, because if you haven't had your healing journey, you haven't discovered your wholeness, you haven't discovered that when healthy people comes towards you, you will be intimidated by that. You'll think it is attacking, or you'll think that it is assertive or aggressive when it's not. Vulnerability is scary when we're still unhealed. And so this open posture is very powerful, and it's going to signal to the right people the right things. And you also need to be the right person, knowing the right things, being that right person, so that when you come heart to heart, you're sharing good heart energy. If you come across a person who's open-hearted and you're open-hearted and you have something that needs to be healed or you have something to let out, that's a safe time to let it out. A healing can occur in this space. One of the axioms that I've heard in the recovery world is that wounding happens in relationship and healing happens in relationship. And so it's okay when you find a safe person to have that healing with them or in front of them. They won't be healing you. You'll be healing yourself, but you'll be doing so with a safe, loving person supporting you. Yeah, so this has gone way longer than I thought. So anyways, that's a lot to chew on, and I hope that helps. So the two pieces of advice were, say, everything's always working out for me when something good happens and when something bad happens and everything in between. Say it all the time. Say it until you can memorize the words and you say it in your sleep. And the second thing is find a way to open up energetically, emotionally, with your body posture, whatever, but find a way to open up consistently and as many times as you can throughout the day. Because that will help you to engage the world in a new, because your vibration will be different to what you're putting out. Again, on all of those levels, you're going to be coming back. Information is going to be coming back. Not that the world's against me, but the world's for me. Everything's working out for me. People are here to help me. People are safe. The world is abundant. I have my needs met. I have what I want. This world is a safe place to play. You know, people are great out here. I'm having a great day. My body's happy. My finances are well. Things are going my way. Okay? So again, I'm going to wrap this up and preview for the next one. The next 5D, Ask 5D, is going to be relationships. How do you improve the connection, and how do you know when to walk away? Love and light.